Okay, I wanted to do this video real quick. I'm using footage from RV Truth. I hope he doesn't mind. I'm one of his subscribers, and he's got a great channel. Very good. Now, these rockets by SpaceX and NASA, every time you see one of these launches, they are real rockets, okay? But what they're doing is they're using or employing an excuse they call escape velocity, which is there a reason why they don't do what we were taught in school, that the quickest way in between 2 points is a straight line? Now these rockets, every time, will blast off, and you will notice that there's always a conveniently parked ocean right beside these rockets, because that's where these rockets are really going, to the ocean, not to outer space. They blast off, and once they get about 40,000 feet in altitude, they start doing a heavy arc, which, when said and done, just looks like an upside down U. Okay, they go up, they arc, and they fly right back down towards the Earth. But while they're flying down, they're getting so far away that once you can't see it no more, and they've traveled back down towards the Earth so far, then they switch to CGI of a CGI rocket in space. Okay, and here it is. Let me expand the screen. Now this thing takes off. It goes straight for about 40,000 feet or so, and then it performs an arc where it no longer is traveling straight up. Okay, it'll perform this arc and just fly right back down. What it does actually is this. It'll blast off straight, then it'll do its arc, and it'll do this, and it flies out of view going down like that. It doesn't do a perfect upside down U. Okay, it blasts straight off, up, then it starts doing the arc, and it flies back down towards the Earth and out of view, and that's when they switch to CGI of a fake rocket. Now you'll see how the burn is under the rocket, and the rocket's on top of the burn. Now watch what happens with the burn. Okay, this is ridiculous. This rocket is now going back down towards the Earth. It's over the ocean, and now the burn is on top. It's supposed to be underneath the rocket. The rocket itself is supposed to be above the burn. But the burn is on top now because this thing, the rocket is underneath that burn, and it's going back down. All right? And it's flying away out of view. It goes up, straight up, then does an arc, and flies out of view and crashes into the ocean. And as soon as it gets almost out of view, NASA and SpaceX will immediately switch to computer-generated image animation of a fake rocket in space. Now, this is the only way you will ever see any rocket take off. This is the fake animation, and this is partially of them explaining what this rocket just did. Okay, but it goes up, it does an arc, but they stop there. Well, you can see this rocket goes right back down. You see what I'm saying? Let me back up to that. Okay, right here, people are so stupid and dumbed down. Okay, this is what they call escape velocity. And it goes straight up for a little while, and it does this big arc. Okay, and they're not being... this is only some partial honesty, because they know some people look into this somewhat to be able to answer a flat earther. But this is all they can explain. We can see that the rocket continues to go back down. With this, see how the burn is back underneath the rocket and the rocket's on top? Well, in the footage you just seen, you can clearly see that the burn coming out of the back fuselage of the rocket is on top, and the rocket itself is here. Okay, that's because it's flying down. All right, but they're sure to show you it the right way when they switch to their animation of the rocket in space. You see this? That burn, that exhaust that comes out of the rear end of the rocket is on top, and the rocket's down here. Okay, it's because it's going down. But when they switch to their CGI animation, you can see they got it orientated right again. Okay, you see how they do this garbage? They're a bunch of scumbags. Now the burn is back where it's supposed to be, and the rocket is on top of the burn. When you just seen that it's the other way around, because the rocket is going upside down. It's going back towards the Earth. And this is all fake. Now, if we have 10,000 plus satellites in orbit of the Earth, why don't they ever, one time in history, dedicate one satellite to monitor one of these alleged launches, where we can see the rocket blast off from the Earth, whiz through the sky, and then fight through the atmosphere, get through the atmosphere, arrive in space, orbit the Earth, and then dock with the ISS. We never see that, and you will never see that. Okay? Because there's no satellites in space, and these rockets are not going to space. Otherwise, they wouldn't need this CGI animation here. Okay? These satellites, you remember the old, what was those CSI shows, crime scene investigation, how they would always use a satellite to zoom in on someone's license plate or some garbage like that? Okay, that's what we were taught that these satellites could do, spy satellites, and Russia was mad they didn't want a satellite going over their landmass, but they don't own space and blah, blah, blah. The United Nations said it was okay. They were supposed to be spy satellites, and you could zoom in on stuff. Now we're told there's 10,000 plus satellites, and not one of them will ever feature one of these rockets by SpaceX or NASA or whoever, where you can see it blast off from Earth, fight through the sky, whiz through the atmosphere, arrive in outer space, and then at some point dock with the ISS. Okay, where are the satellites that we can go rent on the internet or somewhere to see what the ISS is doing, or have one by the moon where we can have live feed of the moon? This technology that they say we have cannot be verified. Okay, we don't have what they say. We damn sure don't see it. Okay, now my people in my family, like last week, my dad, I was visiting, and he was screaming like there was an intruder in the house. So I come up, and NASA was blasting off their fake rocket to go to Mars. And he asked me, is that fake too? And I said, no, it's not. That rocket's not going straight up. Watch the launch. It's not going straight up. It's going to perform an upside down U and fly back and go into the ocean. They don't care. They think that the government is in place for our well-being. They think they actually vote and put these political parasites in office. And they can't see. I tried to tell them, if they were really for you, they would have passed the $15 an hour minimum wage. But these political parasites, they do not serve the employee. They serve the employer. They serve the lobbyists that come visit them and give them handfuls of Bitcoin and suitcases of cash to pass laws that favor the billionaire corporate business or the billionaire pharmaceutical company. And these people, billionaire corporate businesses, sent their lobbyists and told them, if you want to stay on the payroll, do not pass a $15 minimum wage, because we don't want to pay our employees that much money. And that's why that didn't pass. People are so stupid they can't see the truth that we're lied to. And why would they lie? Because they want you to believe there is no creator. They don't want you to know the truth. They know the truth. They know there's a God. They serve Satan and the false pagan gods. That's why they name their rockets Dragon. That's why every light in the sky is named after a false pagan god. Mars, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Mercury, all false pagan gods. And in other videos I show you or tell you that each day of our week is named after a false pagan god. Monday, Moon Day, Tuesday for Tuesday, Woden for Wednesday, Thor for Thursday, Friggs for Friday, Saturn for Saturday, and Sunday, Sol, Helios, Ra for Sunday. Okay? That they believe in these false pagan gods while deceiving people into thinking they are atheists. They are not atheists. Okay? They know, just like we know here on the earth, that if you want to make that vacuum cleaner, and there's a reason why that device is called a vacuum, because it sucks. And so do vacuums. You can see in one of my videos where I demonstrate that. Now that Carnival glass pitcher there was made. It could not exist unless it was made by a superior being. Okay? Now, it is illogical to believe that this inadequate piece of glass had to be made or it couldn't exist, but the superior thing that made it was made by no one from nowhere. How does that work? How do people really believe that? That this inadequate object had to be made, but something a trillion times far superior was made by nothing from nowhere? Are you kidding me? Evolution is just a faulty way to tell people that we came from rodents or a common ancestor, one species transitioning into another. It does not explain where the primordial soup came from or the lightning bolt that struck that pond and caused matter to clump together into a cell. It does not explain that. Okay? In a three-dimensional reality, you cannot, a place called nowhere and nothing cannot exist with time, space, and matter. They're just words, and they're used to deceive you or explain away the obvious, just like coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence. It's just a word used to explain away the obvious. Like I said before, if you have a warrant and you keep looking out the window and see police cars driving up and down your street, it ain't a coincidence. They're looking for you. If you're cheating on your girlfriend and you're at at the mistress's house and you look out the window and you see your girl driving up and down the street, it ain't a coincidence. She's on to you. She knows the street, but she don't quite know the house. She's looking for the car, your mistress's car. Coincidences are malarkey. Okay, they don't exist. All right, so there's no way that anything on that table could ever exist by nothing from nowhere. It had to be made by something that had the ability to think, that was superior, and that is the physics, nature, and reality on Earth. It doesn't change once you get 220 miles high past the Kármán line. There is no Kármán line. Our atmosphere gets thicker and denser and denser and thicker until it becomes a solid. You need a container. Otherwise, all the oxygen and gas on the Earth would disperse. Okay? Women use cans of hairspray because the hairspray inside it would disperse if not contained. And that's how we got oxygen containment and gas containment because of the glass ceiling, as Hillary Clinton likes to reference it, the dome. But anyway, rockets don't go to space. Watch the next launch and you'll see. They use this excuse called escape velocity, and it's that this excuse is provided because they cannot go straight up because there's a firmament. and they have to trace it right here. They got to stay underneath it. If they go straight up, they'll smash into it. And they go back down, as you've seen. Rewind the video and take a look.